Okay, today's learning goal. I can use the formula for the volume of a cylinder to solve problems. We are also still explaining that the volume of a cylinder is found by multiplying the area of its circular base by its height. So, let's get our notes and get started. Okay? Volume, the number of cubic units needed to fill a solid. To find the volume of a cylinder, multiply the area of the base, which is your big B, by the height of the cylinder. Cylinders have two bases that are parallel. They are congruent circles. What is the base of a cylinder? It is a circle. So, the volume formula on your formula chart is, for a prism or a cylinder, V equals big BH. I hope by now you have a big B written on your purple mathematics chart, because that's where it goes, because that is big B, the area of bases. We will never use a trapezoid, but you need to know these three, okay? So today we're using a circle, so it is pi r squared. So here we go. Volume equals, and I'm going to do this, pi times r squared. That is what my big B is. And then that all is multiplied times the h, or the height of the cylinder. Okay? Since area of the base of a circle is a circle, the area of a circle is pi r squared, we have to multiply that by the cylinder's height. Okay? I'm just going to do a quick reminder. Remember, halfway across the circle is what? Hope you said in your head, radius. Okay? All the way around across the circle is what? I hope you said diameter. And for our purposes, the only thing you will need to remember, because you will never need to convert a radius to a diameter, we just did that little activity on Friday to kind of get those brain going. So you will need to remember that a diameter, when given, is divided by 2 to equal the radius. And we will always need the radius in this formula. Okay? So we've got two examples here. So here's example 1, and you are going to need to follow these exact steps when you are solving these. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If the steps are not on the paper, I will not give you credit. Okay? So first thing we're going to do is identify our radius and our height. Well, here's our radius. So our radius is 4, and our height is 11. Okay? Then we are going to write the formula. V equals big BH every time. Then you are going to put an arrow and you are going to write pi times r squared times the height of your cylinder. This pi times r squared is your big B. Then you're going to put the information in. You're going to write pi times, what was my radius? 4 squared times 11. Why is this step important? It is important because your teacher needs to see what you are putting in your calculator. Okay? Now, there have been many questions, and you will see them on your worksheets, and you will see them on your test. So just note this. There are times when they give you the answer choices and they call it in terms of pi. Okay? So, what that means is that you do all the multiplication except for you do not multiply with pi. You're just doing the hard numbers here and then leaving pi sitting next to it, because that is called in terms of pi. So if I wanted to leave the volume in terms of pi for this right here, I would do, I'm going to turn this on, 4 squared times 11. I would find that that is 176, and then I would put my pi sign right next to it. Remember, when you have a number next to a variable, and pi is is a type of, or a symbol. I guess pi would be more of a symbol. This is a symbol for pi. It means that you are multiplying, okay? So in terms of pi, this would be the volume for that cylinder, okay? Now, when it says find the volume to the nearest tenth, oh my goodness, you guys are having so many problems with this, okay? I'm going to write this out one more time. You've got your ones. Those are your whole numbers, okay? Then you've got your decimal point. Then you have your tenths, then your hundredths. Uh-oh, I forgot the D, okay? So, then it goes to your thousandths, okay? Now, if I have round to the nearest tenth, so that's what today's is, so I'm just going to go ahead and just stay with that. If I had 5.7268, goes on and on and on, okay? I would look at my tenth spot, but I would be looking at my hundredth spot to say, what am I going to do to my tenth spot? So, since it's 4 or less, I'm going to let my tenths rest. So my answer would be 5.7. If it was 5 or more, I would be changing my 7, raise the score, to an 8. It is that simple, okay? But I don't know why we're still struggling with this. So I'm going to come back here. It says find the volume to the nearest tenth. We do not use 3. Okay, I don't care what anybody says, 3 is just an estimate. It is not the actual what pi is. Pi is an irrational number. It goes on and on and on, so we use the pi button. Now, 176 times second in pi gives me round to the nearest tenth, so I'm looking at the 2, because it's in the hundredth spot, and it's 4 or less, so I'm going to let the 9 rest. So, the other way I did this, but you could do pi times your 4 squared times 11, and I want to show you that I'm going to get the exact same thing. Second pi times 4 squared times 11, and I get the same exact answer. So my answer to the nearest tenth is 552.9. And to be technically correct, I would need to put centimeters cubed, but I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to leave it off, okay? So let's try it, all right? What's the radius? There's a hint, because do I have a radius here? No, I do not. So I need to take 18 divided by 2, and that is going to equal 9. So my radius is 9, okay? And my height is 12. Even though it's sitting down, you notice this is the circle. So that's your diameter, and we had to divide it by 2 to find the radius. Remember, one step, V equals big BH. Then I'm going to identify what this base is. It is pi times r squared, because it's a circle. That's the area of the base times the height of the prism. Okay, one step, two step, here's your third step. Pi times, what was my radius? 9 squared times h, which is 12. So every problem better have all 3 steps. No ifs, ands, buts about it, okay? So, in terms of pi, my volume would be 9 squared times 12, and I would find out that that is 972, and then I put my pi sign right after it, okay? For the volume, find to the nearest tenth, we're going to do this right here. Pi times 9 squared times 12, and I'm going to do second and pi. The pi key is right on top of the power up button, times 9, ooh, missed that, I need to get back over, highlight that, squared, oh, can't do that either. I'm going to have to delete it, okay? So I got 9 squared, it's not going to, there we go, times 12. And I end up, remember I'm rounding this to the nearest tenth, so 3053 point, I'm looking at my hundredths place, which is a 2, so that's 4 or less. Let it rest, so we're going to let 6 rest at 6. Now, if you notice this symbol right here, it means approximately, because whenever you're multiplying with pi, you're not going to get an exact answer. Okay, so that's what that means instead of equals. It really doesn't equal. Now this does equal because I did not multiply with the pi symbol. I left it in terms of pi. So this means approximately. Okay, a word problem. A scented candle is in the shape of a cylinder with a radius of 4 centimeters and a height of 12 centimeters. So radius is 4, height is 12. What is the volume? Okay, what is the volume? So I need the formula, V equals big BH. Then that's my first step. Second step, pi times r squared times h. Third step, put my information in. Pi times r squared, 4 squared times 12. Now I'm ready to put it into my calculator. We're going to round this to the nearest tenth. So I've got second and pi times 4 squared times 12. And I end up with 603. Ooh, now this time, look at that. In the hundredths place, it's an 8. So that tells me it's 5 or more. So change the score. So that is approximately 603.2. And it would be centimeters cubed because we're in the third dimension. Okay, that's what that means. All right. So that's all I have for today. Your practice is pretty straightforward. You are going to, I want you to write on top of the practice, round to the nearest tenth. Okay, round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so don't forget to do that. Remember, you have to show all 3 steps. There's 5 problems on this side. Oh, look, you better get to work. Have a great day, and if you need any help, your teacher is here to help you.